Alright guys, it's Heatgun Reflow from RobinHoodsPlayground.com. I'm going to show you how to do a reflow of the heat gun. First thing I'm going to show you real quick is a nice little technique I use to clean off all the thermal paste. This stuff is pretty new and it's pretty watery still. It's not baked on like most of that other stuff. But this method will work for Arctic Silver or that stock stuff that Microsoft uses. It's just a lot easier to clean off the paste. So what I do is grab a Q-tip, and then this is WD-40 and this is soap. I just put it in WD-40, get some on there. Then you just put it on here and it goes liquid almost instantly. There's nothing that's really hard on there anymore. See if I can show you. So now you grab some paper towel, wipe it off. Now it's all off. That's part of the chip that's been burnt on from that crap Microsoft paste, but all the thermal paste is off. Now it's kind of oily and greasy. Now normally you use rubbing alcohol, that'll clean it off nicely, but soap's easier. There's more of it. It's easy to get on there and whatnot, so I like to use it. Save my rubbing alcohol for the chips. So you just get some on there nicely, and then you go grab a rag or get one of these wet and just wipe it all down and you're good. Do the same things for the chips on the board, and I'll be back with all the chips cleaned, ready to go, ready to heat gun. Alright, we're back. I forgot to mention, if you're doing the WD-40 method I just explained, WD-40 is conductive, so you're not going to want to get it here or on the board or anywhere really, just on the chip, that's it. And you're not going to want to use that much so you can keep control of it. So I cleaned my chips, and I didn't do the greatest job, but this is my own Xbox, so it doesn't really matter to me that much. This Xbox is on its last legs anyways, so let's go ahead and heat gun it. Here's my heat gun. It's got two settings. It's got, I don't know if you can see it. Top one's high, bottom one's low. Bottom one's approximately 500 degrees, and the top one's about 1,000. You can see. No, you can't see, but it's 1,500 watts, it says, so look for something about that temperature. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up a little bit, just on the low setting, and I'm going to put my gun down, flip it over, heat up the back. You're going to want to go this square, you're going to want to do, and then get these chips as well. So go square and chips, basically like that. CPU is not a really big deal. This is a GPU error on this board, so CPU doesn't really matter to me. Most red rings are GPU error anyways. So why don't we just start with the back? It's probably easier. So you're just going to want to always keep your heat gun moving. You don't want to ever stop it. If you stop it, you're going to melt something. That's not a good thing. I'm just roughly doing this. There's no time for just heating up the board. So I'm going to flip it over now. I'm just roughly heating it up. When you're actually doing the full heat gun, you're going to want to do it for about 15 seconds on each side. So I just turned it to high. Just going to let it heat up for a minute. And then I'll heat gun the back. So I'll flip over the board. So we're going to heat gun the back first, and then I'll do the front. You're going to want to do it for 15 seconds, and you're going to want to keep your gun about 1 inch to 2 inches above the board. And like I said, 15 seconds each side, and then don't move it. You're going to want to let it cool down on its own, leave it, and put it back together, and you should be good to go. So here we go. Okay, so that's 15 seconds each side, and you're not going to want to move this. If you even put your hand above it, you're going to feel the heat. Just trying to find a good place for the heat gun. There we go. So if you put your hand above it, you're going to feel heat coming off. And so we're going to leave this now. One thing I didn't do is cover up the capacitors. If you aren't careful, and you can't really be careful with this method, but basically what you're going to do is you're going to be blowing heat, and the heat's going all over the place. It's not just going directly in this area. So you're heating up the capacitors and everything, and they can explode and damage your board if they get too hot. So you should cover it up with aluminum foil. That putty you use to hang pictures and all that, you can use that. That's a good insulator. Anything that'll insulate very well and won't melt, you can use that. So we're going to let this cool down. You should leave it until it's cool. Just put your hand above it, and then once you feel no heat at all coming off, you should be good to go. Put it back together, and no more red rings of death. So I'll be back once this is cooled down. Okay, it's time to put the thermal paste back on. The board's all cooled down. So what you're going to want to do is grab some thermal paste. I use Arctic Silver 5. I got some Stars thermal compound. I got some, what is this called? I got some Zalman thermal grease in there, but I don't use that. I use that for the these chips here, the RAM chips. So yeah, I use Arctic Silver for the CPU and GPU, AS5. Now you're not going to want to put that much. You're going to want to put as little as possible. You're not going to want to get this anywhere besides the chip. So what I like to do is take a little card. This is like a ID card or something, I think, and just kind of scrape it along the chip. You're going to want to have an even coating across. I'm going to need some more on this chip. Oh, sorry, it's hard to keep the camera looking at it and keep my eyes looking at the chip. So I'll do a little bit of evening out on that, and I'll come back when the Xbox is put together. Okay, it's all back together now. Moment of truth. Turn it on. And we got green lights. So there it is. Drives back in, everything. So that's how to reflow your Xbox with a heat gun. I'm Heatgun Reflow from RobinHoodsPlayground.com. Come check us out.